Right, hope everybody's well. I'm doing an afternoon stream today, not an evening stream, mostly because I was up and early and had to do a load of stuff, and I thought, I've got time now, why not do a stream? That way the Australian, whoever else, can watch it. Also, I'm going to see how long it takes people to notice this. Well, some people might obviously come in the stream right now, hear me saying it, but yeah, there was a bit of a shaving accident, so it's gone for the time being. It feels very strange not having a moustache after having one for like 6 months or whenever it was I had it. But yeah, it's odd. But yeah, the problem was I was shaving it. When I was shaving it, one of the sides is a bit uneven. It looked stupid. So I tried to trim it down, and it was getting closer and closer to being a Hitler stash, where I was like trimming it on each side, trying to even it out. And then I thought, fuck it, I can't look like Hitler. So had to shave the whole thing off. But yeah, so that was a bit of a tragedy. But oh well. At least it means at the moment I can constantly every day do a really good clean shave all over my face and neck, and do that for mask sealing purposes. But I'll grow it back. But yeah, I don't think it'd be a very good idea to do YouTube videos with a Hitler stash, in all honesty. As much as the CDC did say a pencil moustache is on their list of moustaches you can have with a respirator. Yeah, I agree with you there, Snickle. I've heard even people on the radio saying a day's wrong now at the moment. Not even like slip of the tongue thing where they say the date and then they go, wait, no, that's not the date, is it? But yeah, it's strange. But yeah, I've got no work, I've got no volunteering, so at the moment my week is just really unscheduled. I'm just having to do jobs around the house all the time. That's like the only thing I'm doing. Obviously, I can do some I can do weightlifting and stuff like that. I can do YouTube videos. There's stuff to do, but you know what I mean? Yet when you've not got something where you need to be doing this at this time, this day, not having a routine. I've just got, Peter, it's like an old Philips one, like the three-headed one. If that ever starts going wrong, I can probably get a much nicer new one, but that's one I've had for years, and I don't get shaving rash as much now I'm older. When I was a lot younger, I used to get shaving rash. Where you get like pimples coming up all over your face as soon as you've shaved. I get a little bit, you can probably see, where it looks like I've had like beta burns a bit. But, how's that working for you, Daniel? I imagine it's a bit of a shock to the system. All right, Gretchen, have you noticed yet what the problem is? What's wrong with this picture? But yeah, it's strange. Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know, Commie Hunter. It has to work with a mask, though, because if you have a stash that goes like that, it'll break the seal of half face masks. The pewter mask is my least favourite one, Arctic Sniper. But yes, I've been listening to people on the radio, Daniel. Some people are loving the fact they've got time off. Other people just can't adapt to it. Yeah, it's weird not having a tash. Some people like it, some people don't. But yeah. Yeah, it means I'll start getting ID'd again now, Sparrow, when I go to buy booze. Yeah, it's strange, isn't it, not having it? But masks and preps says MP5 is a good mask for Tesco shopping. Right, I've not been Tesco shopping. Today's video, for those of you that are interested, the video I filmed today that will go on tomorrow, was about converting other masks so they're safe for other people. Because I'm sure you know that when you have a mask, a surgical mask, that protects other people, not you, primarily. When you've got a gas mask, it protects you, not other people. So the video today was getting masks, like gas masks, and putting basically toilet paper where the exhale valves are, so you can not breathe germs on other people. Yeah, I definitely think we're going to have serious issues, Oak Ashform. Woollaloo says, who Wuhan Health Organization? I've been playing a lot of Age of Empires recently, though. So yes, Woollaloo. You've got that stuck in my head now. Not yet, Mr. Deja Vu King. Apparently the fire's only just getting, like the ash from it is only just getting to Kiev now. It's probably going to be weeks before it gets to lots of other bits of Europe. If you can get one super cheap and it's in an all right condition, it's a fine mask. Actually, when I say fine, I mean it's very basic, but it works. Yeah, just to make something obvious to people, the mods might be a bit aggressive with people getting too political in these streams. That's all right. Yeah, it was an accident, Gretchen. But yeah, for all women asking, it was an accident. I didn't do it on purpose. Because when it comes to facial hair, I think with women, like half of them hate it, half like it. That was something I noticed when I grew a moustache. But yeah, strange stuff. But that's not really what we want to talk about on the stream. The stream's not really got a theme. Don't forget to like the stream, everybody. But which one was the MF1A? The name sounds familiar. Oh, the Chinese one. No, I can do that perfectly now, though, actually saying about that Pregno. Because when I find where that mask is, I can use the silicone adhesive on it. So yeah, when I dig that up, I'll do a video on that. Because yeah, I've got this stuff because Son of Sono recommended it for you know, like bodging filters onto GOS masks, basically, while bodging them in actually a good way, not a cheap way. So like black silicone adhesive, you can essentially use that for mask repair as well. So yeah, when I find where I've got the MFA stored, I will do a repair video on that to, you know, compensate for the slave labor in a factory. Because apparently, according to Hype, they are made in literally prison factories, like gulags, those masks, hence why they're not very well made. How do they work on yours, Mars and Preps? Somebody in the Discord said to me earlier in a PM that, weirdly, he had 3 GP5s or SHM62s, whatever you want to call them. And the one of them worked fine with the filter, but 2 others didn't. So it seems really strange. It seems there's both, like, because what I think it was Dutch said in the Discord yesterday is that Scott Pro filters, and I pinned this as a comment on my video, just so it's obvious for anybody that watches it and goes to the comments. Apparently, Scott Pro filters can be made in both GOST and NATO threading to confuse things even more. So it turns out you might buy a Scott Pro filter and get one that's actually a GOST threaded one, and then find it works basically on every mask, or you might not. So yeah, to really confuse things, it turns out some filters literally come NATO threaded, and you know, like some. It's the quality control of the mask sometimes means it works or not. But yeah, you know. All right. Cool. How does that work? Hey, Londa, that sounds quite cool. Did you, Daniel? Or if you want to know how one works, you can always ask me. I still got the batteries in this one. This is one I've taken. If you take the bottom cover off these, a really cool thing is you can detect alpha radiation with them. No, I don't think I've got the batteries in this one, have I? No, the batteries aren't in this one, which means I've put the batteries in a different one I've got somewhere. So let me just work that out. It's probably one of the ones up here. Now, which one is it? Is it this one? Yeah, I reckon it's probably this one. But yeah, I ended up buying a few of these because I really like them. Yeah. Was it this one I moved the batteries to? Yeah. Yeah, I really like these. Because basically, yeah, what we were saying, there's the Mark II Radiacs behind me there. What they basically did, they got the Mark II Radiacs, they put new electrical circuitry in them, you know, like modern resistors and everything, not old vacuum tube resistors. It runs off a single D cell now, not needing a D cell, a 9 volt and a 30 volt battery, like the weird old ones did, Mark II Radiacs, where each bit of a battery powered a different bit of the circuitry inside. And it's in centigrades when they did the modern calibration with the screens, not Rontgens. And it is actually properly calibrated to centigrades, because I was wondering, had they just got the Rontgen units and put centigrade on the thing? Because what they did, I tested it, is if I, for example, open these up so you can actually access the ion chamber, if I put that Soviet radium back screen I've used in a lot of videos to overload Geiger counters, in this, it would be 16 centigrade, give or take, a tiny bit because it's an analog display. If I put that in my old German ion chamber, which is shit, you can actually load samples in it and it works well. It gives me just about 18 Rontgen. And 16 centigrade does very closely translate to 18 Rontgen. Yeah, 10 euros is fine for a Polish MC1. Right, I've missed a load of comments, so let me go back. But yeah, and for those of you that didn't know, when you get one of these, if you want to test it's working, if you open this bit, that lets you get directly into the ion chamber without dismantling anything, and you can then use mericinium from smoke alarms to see the needle move. So yeah. All right, Marcus, good to see you on. Are you in Hong Kong at the moment? I assume so, because I know sometimes you're in the UK, aren't you? Other times Hong Kong, but yeah. Well, that's a reasonable price for an S10, isn't it, Ramirez? Not an extortionate price. But I was talking to the pharmacist. I'll try and, if I've missed a comment from you, just repeat it, because obviously I've got a bit sidetracked. I've got a Necron army, Bjorn, and a bit of Space Marines. But, yeah, regarding, what was I saying with, yeah, in the pharmacy. I was talking to them about that with the pharmacist because I had a mask on, and the pharmacist was saying, are you selling a lot of masks? I said, well, I don't sell masks, I normally just review them and other old military surplus. But I said at the moment, people are being really extortionate with the prices of a lot of this stuff because, like people are, like I said, it's pretty sick, isn't it, when they're like buying out all the masks just to resell them, but. That sounds cool, Halon. No, Jabberwocky, I've never reviewed one. To be honest, if you want really good reviews of quite rare old stuff like that, I'm not the channel really to watch for that. Duke Nougat and people like that are the people who do the really extensive research into old masks and have quite rare ones. So that's probably the channel you sort of want to check out for that. I'm more, what is easily available for the most part. I've got a couple of masks that are slightly rare, but for the most part, I get stuff that's easily available and evaluate, would it be good for just generic people like me to use it for any sort of protection? Yeah, exactly, Son of Son. It's crazy, isn't it? But thank you. You can actually buy one if you want to. It's merch, and it makes a bit of money for the channel if you buy one. One of my mates did the drawing for it, so I give him half the money when everyone sells. That's good, Daniel, if they've still got masks. But yeah, because what I've done is a few of my masks I've given to like friends of the family, family members, especially people with more vulnerable with underlying health conditions. I've said I don't want anything for them, keep the masks. I wanted to give some masks to local, like I said, NHS type stuff, but annoyingly, when I was trying to do it, it turns out there's so many fucking like stupid things in the way where we're not trained to use that mask, so we can't use it. Thank you again, Marcus. And all that. So, and this is what I've been hearing people complain about on the radio, and I listen to LBC a lot, that you'll get a lot of people in medical professions, who say things like, they're having to buy their own mask, but then they're being told, no, you can't wear that mask because it's not one that's medically certified and all this sort of stuff. I haven't done any Warhammer for ages, Bjorn, so it's not something I'm really still into. I've got quite a big point Necron army sitting in probably a load of biscuit tins in the conservatory, I imagine. I don't know where they are. But I don't have an FM54 sadly person with a Cyrillic name. I don't have an FM53 either, but I do hear they're very good. Oh, that's what tomorrow's video is about, if you didn't hear, Seven Fisk. It's basically a gas mask, but where I've made an improvised filter for the exhale valve. But, yeah. Yeah, I've been playing quite a bit of Bannerlord recently. It's helping keep me sane. But, yeah. But, yeah, exactly. Red tape costs lives. Ah, cool. How much did you pay for one, Stug? Don't pay too much for PNV57A because it's not true night vision. It requires an IR illuminator. If you've got an IR illuminator, I imagine you'll have great fun pissing about outside of it. Show you one of my Goss masks. I can show you a modernish Goss mask. Oh, wait, is it still in the other room? All right, I'll show you a PMG then. There you go. There is a Soviet PMG, famous. that the Metro cops have in Half-Life 2. Thank you again, Marcus. Why not just remove the inlet valve? Well, what you could do, yes, you're correct there, Marcus. Another way of doing it could be to block off the XL valve completely and then set the mask up so there's no intake valve. So, yeah, the air comes in and out of the filter. That would be another way of doing it. You're completely correct. But an easy thing to do was just on a lot of masks, you can actually, elastic band or whatever, some tissue or, cloth over the exhale valve. The air still flows out of the mask, all right. And then when you get home, you can just bin that thing, and put a fresh one on. So it works a bit like using a surgical mask. There's different ways you can do it, and there's all sorts of good ideas. Like you're saying, what you're saying could work very well as well. But, what I was thinking is it doesn't require really any work with the mask, and the valves still function properly. What are you on about? Sorry, is a deal. The filter doesn't have a one-way valve. I'll be in UK for it. Thank you very much. She says, love how my Chinese coffee can filter arrives as soon as you start streaming. Now I just need a hose and bag for it. Any recommendations for a bag? Right. In regards to a bag, just a bag to carry the coffee can filter, or a bag for your filter and mask? If you want, again, I think these are really good bags. I use them a lot for various mask storage, but these are old French and Belgian military satchel bags for masks. They're really good, strong bags. The reason I like these is basically because you can fit quite a few different masks in them with a filter, vertically, and they don't take up loads of room on a shelf. But you could certainly have a coffee can filter in here with the hose, and then, wear it round your waist. And then you could probably just cut a little hole in the bottom so you could breathe through the coffee can filter fine that way. PBF, do you mean? The PBF is a Soviet cheek filter mask. But anyway, what was the thing somebody said about the PNV? I want to go back to that Stug. Said I paid 120 for it, and the seller gives a battery pack and the MP4 gas mask kit also. That's not too bad then. Yeah, you have to be careful not to pay too much for the PNV 57As because they're not true night vision in the sense, well, they're Gen 0 night vision. But if you didn't pay too much for it and it comes with all the gear, that's not too bad in all honesty, because they are cool stuff, A lot of people shit on them because, yeah, they're not true night vision as in modern night vision. But if you want one for the retro value and just to piss about with, they are great, I love playing with the PNV 57Es, but bear in mind, PNV 57E does actually amplify light, whereas the PNV 57A requires an IR light. However, if you what you can do, of course, is if you get a really bright IR flashlight, which, you can get for not much money now, you can just use a little IR flashlight, mount that to your shoulder or the headset, or the tank helmet. You can just stick the IR flashlight sticking out the tank helmet, and then you will literally see like night vision. What was that? Sorry, hot dog, human eating a hot dog. You said, oh, should I buy a Mark 5? What did I miss? I've got a VM37, a VM40, and a VM44 gas mask. And Tammy Crumbow gave me, is that Norwegian Kronas? 11. Thank you very much. The Chernobyl fire, thankfully it's not reached us yet, but there was a thing earlier where they were saying it's under control on the BBC. I get very worried when officials talk about Chernobyl and say under control, because it doesn't look under control. If radionuclides get to your area, you definitely want a mask. Inhaling strontium-90 is basically a death sentence. Did anybody see the video I did earlier with the overloading the Geiger counters? Because a load of that was using strontium-90 to overload Geiger counters. Now imagine that shit in your lungs. Yeah, put your Discord name. Anybody that donates, if they've not done so far, post your Discord ID. We can add you to the server. And thank you again, Daniel. He said, how many masks have you actually got? I've not got an official tally of it anymore. At one point, I had a spreadsheet with them all on. And then when Windows 10 fucked a load of files on my PC, I lost it. I would guess around 150-ish if we're zeroing it to like the nearest 25 or something. But bear in mind, I've had some come. I've given some away to people. I don't really keep an official tally. There's some masks I can never remember if I own them or not. And then I find them like, oh yeah, I do own those. Well, Fallout can get that for Zio. When the actual original Chernobyl fire happened, if you looked at the Fallout maps, basically, yeah, if you've got burning radionuclides, they can cover most of the planet in theory, depending on, where the wind takes them. Most expensive Geyser is in collectible value for it, or most expensive is in what I paid for it, because they're not always the same thing. No, the only flare I've got is it the TK Scout, whatever it's called? This one. We'll see if the battery's still charged in it. It might need charging if I've not used it in a while. Yeah, unfortunately, I need to recharge this again because I've not used it in a while. But yeah, I've got a Flare TK Scout. That's good fun. Yep, let me add you, old bean. Thank you. Yeah, it's not one to add you. If you've donated, you get added. Just follow the rules when you get added, because sadly we had to ban a few people recently who've been quite long-time members because they'd keep breaking the rules and wouldn't stop. And then they kept whinging, even after they were given chance after chance after chance. But if you read the rules and follow them, you're very welcome to stay. The other person get their ID. Has the other person posted their ID yet, if any mods have spotted it? But yeah, flares are really fun to use. Have you seen those really, really cool hybrid night visions? That are basically like green light amplifying night visions, but they combine them with thermal imaging. So basically, organisms glow in the dark, but you see everything else through green light vision. They're really fucking cool. I don't actually know Gurgo. Yeah, you can get flare things for phones, can't you? Yeah, don't use old cheek filters, as Marcus says, for CBRN. However, if you've got an old cheek filter, particle filter, that is going to work fine for something like Corona. I've played Half-Life 2 loads of times. Half-Life 2 Episode 1, Episode 2, the original Half-Life, Opposing Force, Blue Shift, all those. I've not played Half-Life Alyx. I've got an Oculus Rift. I've not got touch controllers. Weirdly, I've not even plugged the Oculus Rift into my new PC yet. I need to get around to doing that at some point. Seems weird having a PC that's fully Rift compatible and not even used it on this PC. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Mike. Let me add them as well. Yeah, if I'm adding you on Discord now, when you're invited to the server, just please read the rules so, it's fair for everybody. That way you won't accidentally break a rule. And, you can't complain that you didn't know about a rule or whatever. Thank you, Rocky Brown. Let me invite you to the server. But yeah, I do appreciate donations, because obviously at the moment I've been doing a lot of Corona videos because that's what people are interested in. Karate Kid said, "Can you call my friend Joris a simp?" There you go. Joris is a simp. But I feel bad. Simp's like a weird new insult, isn't it? Is it like the opposite of a pimp? It's a bit like an incel type insult, isn't it? I don't get it. I mean, I'd rather not be paid money to insult people. I'm sure Joris is very nice. I can't really think, but you paid me to say he was a simp, so there you go. But yeah, if somebody can explain the simp thing to me, please go ahead in the chat and do it. Son of Sono says, as Scott in GP5 is not ideal against NBC attacks, it'd be good to end with hose inside bag versus Corona and dust, more likely as cheap solution for some people. Yeah, that's the thing I've been saying to people is I think a lot of people don't get this, when I talk about it, is that a lot of my viewers are actually from places like Indonesia or places in South America where they don't really have much of a disposable income. And you can't say to those people, spend $200 on a brand new NATO mask. It's just inconceivable for some people that would be quite below the poverty line as we'd consider it over here. Right, I'm charging that now. Hopefully I'll have enough charge before the stream ends where I can show it for the people who've not seen the flare. So yeah, for some people, they can maybe afford a GP5, afford, a thing like a Scott Pro filter, and then get it to work well enough on there to give them some protection. But, I think it's quite unfair to say, I'm not going to try and recommend anything to people who live, almost below the poverty line. Because it's... Yes, I've still got the falchion. I can show you the falchion because it's not a gun. Yeah, there's the falchion. So yeah, for people who are playing Mount and Blade, you'll be familiar with falchions. I love falchions, they're great. This is an English-style falchion, which is a lot more kind of... what's the word? I'm trying what you think of the word. It's you want sort of precise or sort of it's more of a clipped point, isn't it? Right, where some falchions are quite broad, sort of. Okay, Mr. Livera. So a simp is similar to a cuck, then, really. Yeah, if they can get them, Marcus. I mean, some of the things that's good, but obviously the issue is, are Chinese exports still going across? The mask I always recommend for people is this one. I'll put the AliExpress link in the chat now. But thanks again, Marcus. I really appreciate all the donations. This one, I can provide everybody with a link. But for the price of these, they're like £30. And for a full face mask that takes 40mm filters, that's an excellent price. Again, it's not going to be fully CBRN rated, is it? I imagine the rubber will get eaten away by blister agents, no problem. But the point is, for particle protection, this is excellent. Especially if, with a lot of the way, people waste money on PPE, especially like some places are having to pay £5 to £10 plus for single-use N95 masks at the moment. If each of those doctors or whatever could get a mask like this, that would be perfect for them. But as I said, it's really, really, really frustrating, that some doctors can't even accept stuff like this from you. Because as I was saying, I would happily donate a lot of my masks that, have no real collector's value but could save lives to doctors, anybody like that. I'd love to do that. But sadly, a lot of them can't accept them because of the stupid fucking rules. Like people were saying earlier, red tape costs lives. It really does. Oh yeah, because there's the version, isn't there, Marcus, that takes the 3Ms with blanking plugs and the 40mm front. I have to get one of those to review it at some point. Isn't it, Gretchen, a cuck as in a cuckoo? Because the cuckoo lays its eggs in another bird's nest and pushes the other bird's eggs out, so the other bird raises the young cuckoos thinking it's its own thing. So that's where cuckolding and cuckoos come from, basically. But yeah, I'm glad it's comfy, Marcus. I will have to look into that at some point. But they are good face pieces. And thanks, Peach. If you make one, I'll happily buy one from you because I'd love a leather sheath for that falchion. But yeah, from what I can tell, this is a rip-off of a Scott mask, basically. Although it looks kind of like a 3M one. I think it's a rip-off of the Scott, was it Vision something we called it? Because we were looking in the thing, that was the closest looking one to it. With a similar head harness, similar intake. But, what I do like with China, I mean, I wouldn't like it if I was a copyright holder, but I do kind of like the Chinese stealing a lot of designs because it means you can get gear very cheaply, But yeah, when, I didn't know it was originally a fish. But yeah. But yeah, that's the thing when we talk about China is that, just Chinese viewers that don't know, if ever I'm shitting on China, I have nothing against Chinese people. It's generally like the CCP because, but I shit on the British government a lot as well. But, I have no problem with Chinese people, whether they be from Taiwan, Hong Kong, mainland China. But I just don't like it when people keep shilling the CCP because, horrible human rights abuses. But going back to stealing designs, one of the things I do like with the Chinese about that is that there's a lot of affordable products that come out of China that everybody, no matter what their income is, can afford. Because, brand new Avon masks or whatever, you can't really even officially buy them. But if you could, lots of Scott Avon, 3M style masks, like £300 dollars plus. They're crazy money for what they are if you think about it. But, lots of these Chinese companies do masks for like £20 to £30 or euros. I don't know, Old Bean UK. I'm sure you get some people, but the thing is, I think every government should be criticised. Not necessarily unfairly criticised, but just you need pressure put on governments so they don't fuck up all the time. Someone says the Corona price increase is hitting Finland. I bought M71 for €20 a few weeks ago, and now majority master from €50 to €200 Corona-proof tag. Well, that's a shame, isn't it? But are you in Finland then, Sono? Because I can't remember where all my viewers come from, but yeah, I mean, in Finland, you've got lots of good mask choices. The weird thing about Finland is not to just shield for Finland, but I think Finland is the only country I know of where every single Finnish mask I've ever handled or used has been fucking excellent. The old M39s are excellent. The M61 variants, excellent. The M65s and M71s, excellent. The Sabre masks, excellent. male making masks. I don't know what it is, but because there's lots of countries where they have good and bad masks, and then Finland's just like every mask is just fucking excellent. I don't know why. Tammy Crumble says, do you think a 40mm filtered Halley Hansen gas mask is better than the other versions of cheek filters? Probably, because you can get a 40mm filter easier. I'm not sure if where my Halley Hansen is at the moment. I might have put it away properly. But yeah, when I used a Halley Hansen, I did quite like it. It's actually probably one of those bags, but I can't be bothered to find which one it is. Yep, Barnabas, I've got 2 rebreathers, which if I get a new scrubber unit for them will work perfectly. An IP5 and that newer Polish one, I did a video on it, pulling the scrubber and using it. But I've actually got an IP4M with the scrubber unit with the pin unplugged, so in a real emergency I could use that. But as it's quite an old canister, I'd only ever use it in a life or death situation. Oh, thank you very much, Frank the Fetus. Haven't seen you in a while. So yeah, massive thank you to you as always, Frank. Yep, I've played Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. I've not played them in ages. Maybe I ought to reinstall that. And I've been playing a lot of Garry's Mod Zombie Survival again recently, but yeah, you doing all right, Frank? Is Crystal Slack just insulting random people in the chat? Goodbye then. Grobanob says the cuckold theory is spot on. Origin French word cuckold. I can't pronounce it, but yeah, thank you. It's weird how we're talking about cucks in a scientific way on this stream, but yeah, if you've not seen on Weapon Collector's channel, just to shout this out, Mike made a really good homemade stab panel the other day. I did share it on the Discord, but it's really worth checking out. Yeah, Son of Sono says, yeah, I'm from Finland. The M71 is the best mask I've worn so far. Scott is a more common filter in stores and lots of second-hand stores, etc. Yeah, what was interesting, I didn't learn this until one of our other Finnish members said about it. Like Geiger comes on a lot of these and has donated. I'm trying to remember what his name is now, and I've forgotten. It's a guy who's really into Geiger counters in Finland. But the mask I had, which I thought was an M71, is actually called the M65, because the M71 is the one that came along later that was simplified, where there's like more plastic bits on it rather than crimped metal. But, apparently both masks are excellent. It's just the M71 is the cheap and mass-produced one, so I've got the less-produced one, but they always get called M71s over here. But it's for people that donate, but basically it's just a server where people can chat about whatever within reason. I'd rather it didn't keep turning into poll, because that's what a lot of the users want to turn it into. But, if they want to talk about poll shit, do it on poll on the server. It's more about just talking about surplus. Thank you very much again, Frank the Fetus. So you've been all right. You've tested the S10 a couple of times. I'm kind of annoyed by the filter being on the left side, though I aim with my right side, but I love the mask otherwise. If it's on the left side, isn't that though? If you aim right-handed, because then the filter's like that. Or do you mean that you'd rather have a filter that goes vertically down? You can always get a hose for it if you needed to, and then put the filter in a satchel. What you can get, I've not actually got one myself. I don't know how hard they are to get. There are some NATO hoses where one end of the hose actually connects sideways like that. So it actually goes directly down rather than it, coming out to then go down. Right, there's 2 things to giggles of the S10. Firstly, if you're not in Britain, they're harder to get, because obviously in Britain, they were really, really easy masks to get for a long time because the British Army used them for like 30 years. So they were constantly hitting the surplus market. But there's been a few factors. Obviously, over time, they've been harder and harder to get. And then, obviously, as stocks dried up and Corona's inflated the price of everything. And if you're not in the UK, obviously you're in the US, you're relying a bit more of an import market on them. Oh, Tom the Spambot's come back. Yeah, basically, somebody said to me the other day, there was a guy called Tom spamming your comment section. He's a bot. I looked at his account, he was a bot, and I blocked him. And then there's another Tom spam bot come back. Going, you go, girl. So his algorithms aren't very good. Maybe in a moustache because it's gone now. The algorithm thinks I'm a girl. But But yeah, I might make people a bit jealous at the moment, but I got an S10. I think it was £10 or £15 from a car boot sale. Let me show you the one, because it's the one that I think makes people a bit jealous. But I'm not doing it to be a dick, but you know, it was just to give you an idea of what S10s sometimes used to cost. So it was this satchel. The outserts didn't come with it. I bought those separately. Oh, and I've got some FM12 outserts coming, so I can put them on the CT12, the mirrored ones. But yeah, so it was this mask, this bag, and a filter, but not this filter. This is a C2. It was just the S10's PF10 filter, and that was £10 or £15 from a car boot sale. And to make it even crazier, I don't know if that will focus on the camera. Let me just put the lamp on. I'll read the chats in a second. Thanks, guys. A 2009 S10. So, and this was back in like 2014 or something. So it was, you know, just a crazy deal essentially. So, you know, sometimes you can still get good deals on this stuff, but sometimes it is just really luck. Anyway, let me go back to the chats I've missed. Fetus, thank you very much. She said, I'm aiming down sights that are stock on my left side, but I can't aim on the left because of the filter. But can't you sort the filter to different sides? Sadly, not on a standard S10. However, there may even be a way, if you're very careful about it, of actually prizing this bit out. Because essentially, what they've done with an S10 is there's the voice diaphragm on that side, secondary voice diaphragm, and then you've got the air intake. But they've in theory, I don't know if it is possible, and I said obviously do not damage your mask to do it. I don't know if it is possible to very carefully remove that bit and swap it round, because in the factory they use the same face pieces, the face blanks, and then swap them round. But I don't know if it's one of those things when it's in, it's like really crimped in. If you ever get a chance to get one, Frank the Fetus, in Commando Store used to do them. You can get the M110s. They call them M95s on there, but apparently the real name is the M110. I've reviewed it, and that's a very good mask, similar to the S10. You might be able to get the left and right-handed variants of those. And thank you, Digital. He said, do you have any of those free port masks that you can shove free filters into just for meaningless stupidity? I will get one, Digital. What I will do when I spot one on AliExpress is get one of those ones like Marcus was on about earlier in the stream. That was the one that takes 2 3M filters on the side. And the idea is that you use a blanking plug, so you either use it with a 40mm or 3M ones. But it's basically one of these masks, but it also has side filter ports. So I might get one for stupidity, like you said, stupidity reasons, and set it up with 3 filters just for the people who want one, you know, for a laugh. But yeah, thanks, guys. It's not the same dude, it's just a spam bot coming back with loads and loads of accounts. No, I had to buy these separately. These actually used to cost more than masks because I paid like 30 quid for these. But now they're cheaper than the masks. It's just a weird thing. That gives you an idea. These used to cost more than S10s in the UK. If you want to see what Red Vision S10 looks like, the filter looks like that when you look through it. I find it really cool. But they did a load of different color outserts for different reasons. The thing I love about S10 outserts compared to things like the M40 and all that is that with the S10, the outserts literally just clip on like this. If I can get that over there. Like that. You know, they're really simple to get on and off. They're not like the masks, you know, where the outserts literally require you to, you know, do all the stupid folding back the rubber and that. Also, interestingly to my American viewers, did you know, and I didn't know this until some people told me about it, that America actually had the S10 in a mask trial with the M40, but they didn't go with it. Even though I think they thought it was the better mask. So, you know, just alternative history of a mask America could have adopted. This could have also been the standard mass-produced US military mask for a while as well. But I think they went with the M40 because they wanted a domestic mask, not a foreign one. But America does now use the M50, which is actually a British mask. Just Avon had to open a factory in the US to produce it. because America has a thing, and I kind of agree with it, about keeping stuff made in-house. Oh, and thank you very much again, Frank Defeatus. Yeah, let me link you to it. It's Commando Store, but I don't know if they've got any more in stock, but I actually had to order from the States and then get them delivered. Right, here we go. Right, bear in mind, Frank, this is not actually an M95 like they say it is an M110, but Marcus says, oi, like the stream or I cough. Shouldn't that be Coof, Marcus? But there you go. And thank you, Recurve. He says, could you recommend a not too expensive modern Geiger counter? Also, there are fine ones that can also measure EMF levels from radio towers, etc. I think there is a Chinese one that's combined, but I don't know what it's called. Generally, though, I'd recommend them as separate things, because if you're getting a 2-in-1 deal, I'm not sure how reliable they'd be. In terms of in terms of reading stuff from radio towers, I think even one like this will do it slightly. Because this is a very standard EMF meter, and you can get much better ones than this. This is just like a Geiger counter for, stuff like this. I don't know. We'll probably pick up the webcam if I put it close enough. Yeah, there we go. But I use this just to find wires in the wall. Right, let me see if I can recommend... What's sort of your budget for a Geiger counter, Recurve? Because there's a few options available, but it really depends what you want to spend. Tell me what your budget is, and then I'll see if I can find you something. No, sadly, I've not seen that, Yanan, but that's a shame, obviously, if healthcare professionals are being put in danger like that. Oh, $200 US. For $200 US, you could get a therapy. You know, the one I keep talking about how fucking good it is. Let me get the therapy. But these are Ukrainian ones. This shows you both an accumulative dose and your current dose. So let's put the beeper on. So as you can see, it's got dose rate at the moment, which is oddly high. Oh, I'll tell you what I've done. I've managed to get radionuclides on the tube again. Shit. I'll have to give that a good clean later. But so it shows you both a cumulative dose and you can, current dose and a cumulative dose. So that's the therapy. I've got the therapy plus, but for most people, the regular therapy would be better. Let me find you EcoTest's website. But that's the one out of all the Geigers I've used that I would keep recommending. Because there's some I've used, that have good and bad things. But I don't know if you saw my video on it today. But yeah, the therapy, if it overloads, at least still keeps counting. Where the standard, a lot of other brand of Geiger counters, if they overload, just give you a totally false reading. Let me just see if I can find like an Amazon seller with international postage on the therapy. Oh, there doesn't seem to be any in stock at the moment. I don't know if that's just because of the stuff going on in Ukraine. Radex are meant to be good Geigers as well, but I've never used them myself. I'll link you to this one because it was one of the ones I used in the video today. This is all right, but not as good as the therapy in my opinion. There's that one. Obviously, you'll need to find a local supplier for where you are. Let me just check eBay. But therapies are great, but you can buy them from EcoTest's own website, I believe. Yep, here we go. So this is the therapy. This posts worldwide with exclusions. So have a look at this one. But yeah, the standard therapy is a bit more user-friendly because it actually says microsieverts, whatever the dose you're experiencing is, whereas a lot of counters don't. People who donate for giggles can just give me their Discord ID and I can add them. Right, have I missed any super chats? Because I don't want to miss any for obviously the people who donated. But yeah. Anyway. Which particular check sources, Daniel? Because they've come from different things. Some of them, when you buy old radiological instruments, they come with check sources, as in, to test the Geiger counters worked. No problem, Rika. It's a really good Geiger. I love this one. I mean, some people say, the case could be a bit stronger, and all that. It could be a bit more waterproof. But in terms of these, I really like them because you won't be able to overload it in a sense. You know, it won't give you a false low readings like the SOX Geigers do and all that. But yeah, Daniel, so the different check sources, the strontium-90 check sources have all come from different Geigers and ion chambers, where they are either in the like carry satchels or in the actual units themselves. A load of the radium stuff I just get off eBay because lots of sellers sell old radium clocks, watch hands, all that sort of stuff, aircraft dials. Radioactive minerals, like, let me show you with the Therapy for the guy who wanted to see it, recurve. So apologies for the rating going to be too high. I need to clean it after the stream because if you take the thing off and do a beta check, you can get something stuck on them sometimes. But yeah, let's get this. So yeah, like there's some autonite there. No, torbanite. Sorry, this is torbanite, not autonite. As you can see, it works really well for what it is. But yeah, radioactive minerals are quite a nice thing to collect as well. You know, if you want something that looks pretty and also can give your Geigers a good run for their money. I've seen a couple of videos of people who have like massive samples like this that can actually completely flatline some Geigers. But, you know, it's all uranium ore based stuff, really, or thorium. If you PM me on Discord, Daniel, I can find you some sellers with stuff in. What, the Therapy and the Therapy Plus? The Therapy Plus, I think, had some slight difference to the electronics. It was nothing major. And it has the beta flux density function on this, which, unless you're really going to make use of it, and I don't, you're better going for the regular Therapy. The thing I like more about the regular Therapy compared to this one is the regular Therapy actually shows you what the dose is, and it adjusts the dose on the side if you go to millisieverts from microsieverts, for example. The Therapy, you know, a value over 1,000 would be to a microsievert, you know, that can get quite confusing. If I see them, Tammy, for decent prices, yes. A lot of this stuff, though, at the moment is obviously gas masks can be really inflated in price. Also, for Frank, if you're still on, I mean, I know you're on the Discord, Frank, so I can sort you one out. I think you're on the Discord, aren't you? I'm just wondering if there's any ones that ship internationally for the S10 outsets. I know you said you couldn't find any. I'm just wondering if I know you were after red one, but this guy apparently posts worldwide. There you go. This guy apparently posts worldwide. I don't think they're official Avon ones. I think they're ones he's 3D printed himself. But, you know, that might be... I still think they look quite cool. But it might be worth looking on that seller's eBay page and see if he's got any red ones, because I've seen some sellers that, you know... So, Giggles, give me a Discord ID if you've donated. Right, Australian military mostly use British masks, but produced by themselves. So they have the ALAG series, which were the Australian version of the light anti-gas respirators in World War II and the Cold War. They also have the ADF-10, which is the Australian version of the S-10. And I think now they're using the Airbus LBM, aren't they? But yeah, have a look for the ADF-10. I'll type it in the chat for you. It's basically the Australian version of the S10. Apparently, rubber head harness with the fabric head harness to make it more comfortable in a hot climate. It also uses the FM12 style drinking tube. But yeah, you might, if you're lucky, still find ADF pens for a decent price in Australian surplus stores. I don't know. You have been looking for an ADF-10. But yeah, that's the main mask Australia's used for ages, because it's basically just where they did an S10 under license. Yeah, it's because I was up early today, Joe, in case the postman came really early, because it's not a local postman at the moment. So, go up early, postman didn't come early. Went to the pharmacy when my dad was home, so he didn't miss the postman. Then I got in. Then I was waiting for the postman. Postman came, delivered a parcel. That fault check reader, so maybe tomorrow I'll go out in the car and plug it in and try and reset that engine light. Don't blame me, class 2 instructor. As long as you're somewhere where you can legally use a folding baton. In the UK, you can't, but I don't think you're in the UK, are you? But yeah, if somebody does that, they risk infecting you. Post your Discord ID, Gray, and I can invite you. Did Sir Giggles post his ID? Just post Sir Giggles. Copy and paste your Discord ID and just post it in the chat here, then I can add you to my friends list and invite you to the server. That's how unprofessional I am at doing it. I literally send a friend's request and then invite you. Right, thank you. As soon as you get in, read the rules, just so you know you don't accidentally break any rules and then all is good. Because unfortunately some people, break the rules and then say, oh, it's not fair, the mods aren't being fair because they warned me or kicked me or whatever. But it was an accident for the people asking about moustache because I was shaving it, to keep it within respirator fitting sizes like that. One of the bits I got slightly skew with. So then I was trying to balance it out, and in the end I ended up looking too much like Hitler. So then I had to take the whole thing off because I'm not having a fucking Hitler tash. I know I could say it's actually Charlie Chaplin, but still. That's weird, Frank. I wonder if people on Etsy would do it. Any idea? Right, Gray, let me add you as well. But Etsy, I found Etsy, you can get a lot of MilServ type stuff sold through Etsy now as well. So let me try that for you. All right, it doesn't like your name, Gray. Let me delete it and try and put it back in. It says double check the capitalization and spellings are correct. So can you check that for me? Right, you're invited to the server, so Giggles. Let me have a look on Etsy for you, Frank. Because I've bought a lot of... You can buy check sources through Etsy as well. For example, just like... if this URL isn't too big to go in the chat, let's have a look. I can shorten it like that. So, for example, when we were talking... oh, yeah, like the Autonite, Torbanite. Ooh, that's... I won't buy that, but that would be a very radioactive bit of Autonite if it's that big. Does it say how many grams that bit is? Yeah, weight. It's over 100 grams of a rock with Autonite on. But yeah, that would be a very good check source for anybody interested. Just saying, because like a 1 or 2 gram bit of Autonite normally gives quite a few microsieverts on the Geiger counter. But anyway, let me have a look for S10 lenses. Maybe I want to search outserts. No, sadly on Etsy at the moment I can only see Soviet outserts for GP7s and PMKs. But yeah, Frank, I'd say check Etsy every now and again in case stuff turns up there. Right, I'll try that in a few minutes, Gray. Sometimes Discord can just be really funny adding people, though. Well, like, you add their name, and then... there we go, it's worked that time. I've had ones before where you kept pasting the same name in without even control seeing it again, and then suddenly it works. I don't know, class instructor. Our baton laws are very vague, so I'd be very careful with them over here. Because there's lots of things, where something is suddenly illegal or illegal based on, like, a slight side bit to the handle or something weird. 5 deactivator guns, bend blocks and gaming, and 1 live firearm. And a live firearm is an antique, so I can own it without a section 1. Although the Martini does have a slight cut to the barrel, but thankfully it doesn't go all the way through to the barrel. So somebody was going like, oh, somebody's tried to saw it off, it's actually a deactivated one, you've been conned. But no, the cut doesn't go all the way through to the barrel. Whether or not how safe it'd be to fire, I don't know, but it is actually a live one. But I can't sadly show it on the stream because of YouTube's rules. But there is a video on the martini on my channel. But martinis are lovely. You could use window tint, veteran kamikaze, and that would work. I've got a gaming channel I never use anymore. No, Frank, I don't think they're the right ones, sadly. But yeah, I'm just saying Etsy might be something you want to keep checking. You can carry a stick, Orphan, but that's not technically a baton, is it? If I did stream games, I'd just do it on this channel now because managing multiple YouTube channels is a pain in the ass. Yeah, Frank Scott was saying that eBay doesn't seem to like his account or something. Yeah, exactly, a walking stick, Peach. That's the terminology you have to use. USA S10 outserts. I just want to see if there's a place other than eBay that might stock them. I wonder if Amazon.com would have them. Have a look. Right. Yeah. So. Oh, sorry, Cornelius. What was the thing about a Nature article? What, you mean the ticking noise, Eli? Mostly only retro, and it's a piezoelectric speaker that makes that noise. Modern ones tend to beep or just not make any noise. But if you want to hear the retro Geiger noise, I have got one that makes the old British rate meter. So let's flick this on. Oh, it's not meant to make that noise. Hang on. That's the noise. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that might work, Frank. Do you know if it's the eBay bit or the PayPal bit where it's a problem? Yeah, the thing to note about Geiger counters, I don't know if a lot of people know this, is there's always background radiation. In a lot of places, 60 counts per minute, as in 1 count per second, is actually pretty common with background radiation. So if a Geiger was just going, that's not actually higher than normal. Obviously, in here, I've got a couple of samples like that uranium one I was just showing. But what I do is most of the samples I put in a shielded box for obvious reasons when I'm not using them recently for videos, because you don't really want to stay around that stuff longer than you have to. But again, it's... But yeah, does anybody here have any old radium watches or clocks? Because yeah, if you've got some old radium dials, they can be surprisingly scary. Okay, that's strange, Frank. So is it just an annoying case of, yeah, some sellers just have it set up in a way it won't let you buy? Sadly, sword sticks are banned here, Vapor. It's considered to be a banned weapon. Thank you, CMG News. But yeah, it's merch done by my friend Bart. Wow, it's technically Teespring, but he did the drawings. P3 would be absolutely sufficient. I can't remember, Halon, what it is about reactive filters. Is it they have something like iodine inside the filter as well to like bind to some radionuclides? But what you really just need is a particle filter, because the point is the particle filter just simply stops you inhaling some of the nuclides that deposit in your lungs. Oh yeah, again, Peach, yeah, if it's an antique sword stick, then it's fine because of our weird laws. So yeah, let me search Corona T cells and see if I can find this paper. It's about the ACE2 receptors and all that, because I heard about some of that initially. Yeah, it might be worth you just making a new account then, Frank. I don't know. I've got a 2D. Well, actually, is mine a 4D or a 2D maglite? I can't remember, but it takes quite a lot of D cells. But yeah, you can legally carry a maglite. Yes, Daniel, I would agree with you there. Again, I think the problem Hello, Hams Track, person with a long name. I remember you because you had a long, unpronounceable name. But T-cell exhaustion after infection. Let me search T-cell exhaustion. Corona. See if I can find it. Right, I found a COVID-19 thing. I'll bookmark that and read it later. If that's the same paper. But yeah, other than getting a badge from YouTube, hopefully, if they still do them at the moment. Not really. I'll think of a good video to do, but I don't know a real important creature, but bear in mind, X-rays themselves are radioactive, because X-rays are essentially gamma rays that are low-energy gamma rays, or gamma rays produced from electrons. No, you can't, because it won't let people who aren't mods post links in the chat, Samuel. Yeah, exactly, Ben Blog Gaming. After payday, I'm very tempted to buy a working Schmidt-Rubin rifle, because, you know, they are antiques in the Britain, but, you know, having an antique bolt action would be very good. The Yugo M1 would be a bit lighter, but the Yugo a very low quality mask, Andrew, unfortunately. The Serbian M2 is a lot better, but could you get a Finnish M60 one? Because that's very similar. They're both M9 style masks, but the Finnish one's a very good quality. What is in that noise, Grey, like the phones sometimes do? Next to a speaker amp. What is in, like, when you say a speaker amp, you mean like what, like a guitar amplifier style amp? I've got an analog amp over there, but radiation can interfere with my analog amp sometimes. Sadly, not Ben Blogs and Gaming. I've got a Diacli Enfield, but because 303 British is still an easy round to get, they're not considered antiques. Yeah, in Andrew, the M17 is a much better mask than the Yugoslavian M1. So if you've got the option of going for an M17, go for an M17. Yeah, I don't know what would happen if you X-ray radioactive stuff. I assume you just see inside it if you can, like a regular X-ray. Right. The PPE I've been wearing out at the moment is my GVS Ellipse. I've not got it in this room at the moment. I've got it in the other room, so I did a video of it. Right. Frank Lafita said, also, I asked this earlier, sorry, I must have missed it, but how much radiation is harmful to a human, and would an NBC suit and an S10 with an NBC filter help protect against radiation? Right. With radiation, there's a couple of factors. Stuff that gets in your body through inhalation or ingestion is way more dangerous than external gamma exposure. That's not to say gamma exposure is safe, but equivalents, they're nowhere close. So if you had, say, your S10 on an NBC suit, the filter would prevent you from inhaling everything but very, very, very tiny radionuclides. So the mask is preventing you from inhaling or ingesting stuff like strontium-90 and, you know, like cesium-137 if it's in like an ash or powder form. That is where it will do real damage to you, because if it gets inside you, often it doesn't leave your body in a hurry and it's bombarding you with energy while it's inside your body. When it's external like gamma rays, the S10 won't protect you from those, but they're a lot less dangerous anyway because you can, you know, evacuate the area where they are. I've done a video on it that you might find quite useful, but yeah, the quick answer to that, Frank, is that wearing protective gear like that, because yeah, the basically the more of it you can keep outside your body, better. If you've read about the radium girls and things like that, lots of stuff is really dangerous, like where they were licking the paintbrushes to get the tip fine with radium paint. That led to so many cancers within a few years because of how strong it was. Yeah, although I would keep it, Mr. MJ, in the tin ideally, because then it's a really good collector's item. I open mine out the tin because I'm a dick like that. But yeah, that is a very good price for them if you can find somewhere selling M9A1s in the original tins. Don't use the original filter if you do open it, though, because there is asbestos in the old M11 filters the M9 used. But yeah, that's an excellent price for a good old antique like that. If you're asking why do some people have spanners next to the name, Daniel, it's because they're mods. No, it's all just personal research because I find it interesting, Samuel. Again, I'm a bit of a jack of all trades, so when it comes to gas masks, there's a lot of people that know a lot more about gas masks than me, you know, who know about extensive research and families of certain masks and all this. And, you know, there's some people I chat with on here that are really, really into physics, you know, a lot more than I am. But I just find all this NBC stuff in general interesting. So it's a jack of all trades thing. Yeah, ventilation's a problem with radon. One of the things, Jabberwocky, is when people actually seal up old buildings where radon is produced because there's like granite in them too out, and then the radon builds up. A big important thing, if you get radioactive minerals and things like that, store them in an airtight box because they will produce radon gas because of decay. The answer is apparently not. Again, it still seems to be a bit of a crapshoot depending on what thread's on the Scott thread and what thread you get on the Ghost mask in terms of quality control. Thank you very much, PM. Cheers. If you've got a Discord ID for anybody that's just donated poster IDs to get on the server. That's interesting, Gray, what you're saying about the thing. What are you on about, Mike? With the spanner? I thought Israeli civilian masks, Piggy, and I have washed my hands where I'm rubbing my eye when I got in. Oh, as in Wabam is a spammer. Ah, I see what you're saying. Sorry, I thought you were saying what is a spanner on somebody's name. But I think 4A1s are meant to all be a universal size Piggy mapper. I don't know if it's one of the Chinese clones that have the different things. Favorite cheek filter mask. If it had safe filters, it would be the Soviet PBF. Visually, the XM28. In all practicality, probably the M17A2. If you want to donate non-important creature, there's a super chat button below the chat there. And there is also a Patreon in the description. I'll be off in a few minutes, so if anybody that's donated hasn't posted a Discord ID yet and has one, do it now. But depends what you want the filter for, Santiago. But for Corona, you only need a particle filter. So even expired NBC filters are still fine. Apparently it is class 2 in structure. I mean, not that I want there to be an apocalypse. I want everything to go back to normal, actually. Oh, doorbell. Right, I have to end the stream now because there's the doorbell. Right, see everybody. Bye.